So today I'm here to report on my results after stage 1 of New Rules of Lifting for Women. I have all my stats for you, and I also have pictures as well to show you how I have changed from day 1 to today, which has been about a 7-week. So I was very nervous about getting on the scale this morning and taking all my measurements because it has been 7 weeks since I've done that, and I think that is definitely the longest time I've gone since I started my Get Fit journey back in January of 2011. I haven't gone more than 2 weeks without checking. Needless to say, I was very nervous. I really didn't, well, I kind of knew what to expect, but I was kind of hoping not to see it, if that makes sense. But okay, so enough talking, I'll just get right into it. First I'll get into my strength gains, because being strong is what this program is about. So we'll just do that first. For stage 1, it starts out with workout A, and you're doing weighted squats. And I started off doing 105 pounds, and I ended up doing 175 pounds. Them squats made a huge difference in how my butt looked, and you'll see that in the pictures. With push-ups, I started off doing just regular basic push-ups, and then I ended up doing push-ups at an incline with like my feet up here and then my body down here, so I was pushing up like this. Seated rows, I started off 80 pounds with those, and I ended up doing 90 pounds. So the step-ups, I started off doing 25 pounds in each hand, so a total of 50, and ended with 45 pounds in each hand, so that was a total of 90 pounds. Prone jackknives, they start you off doing 3 sets of 12, and I ended up doing 3 sets of 15. And then at the bonus workouts, it has a section where you're supposed to do as many as you can in the workout instead of doing like 3 sets of 12 or whatever. It's just 1 set of however many that you can. And for squats, I got, and you do this starting with what you started off in the first place. So for squats, I did 40 at 105 pounds. Push-ups, I did 20. Seated rows, I did 20 at 80 pounds. Step-ups, I did 130 at 25 pounds. And the jackknife, I did 30 of them. So workout B starts off with the deadlift. I started off at 115 pounds, and I ended up at 155 pounds. Dumbbell shoulder press, I started off at 20, and I ended up at 30. Wide grip lat pull down, I started off at 70, and I finished at 100. Weighted lunge, I started off at 25 in each hand, so for a total of 50. And once my grip was really starting, I couldn't, like the dumbbells, I couldn't keep my grip doing those lunges. So what I did is I got this idea off a friend of mine on Instagram, is using the squat rack for the lunges. So you have the barbell going across, so you don't have to do, the weights in your hands. You got the weights on the dumbbells, or you got the weights on the squat on the rack. You know what I'm talking about. So I used, it's kind of like an assisted lunge, but it's still hard as hell because you got all the weight on your shoulders instead of each hand. I ended up with 85 pounds on each side with 170 pounds total for the weighted lunge. Swiss ball crunch, I started off doing regular, and those got kind of easy. So what I ended up doing is I took it wasn't a kettlebell, but it was some kind of weight where you hold on to it. A weighted ball that they had at the gym, and I was using a 35-pound one of those with the crunches. For the as many as possible in the bonus workout, deadlift, I did 25 at 115 pounds. Dumbbell shoulder press, I did 20 at 20 pounds. Wide grip lat pull down, I did 35 at 70 pounds. The lunges, I did 80 at 25 pounds in each hand, and the Swiss ball crunches, I did 60. Alright, so there's that part. I have to admit, I was pretty disappointed with what my weight was what my weight ended up being and all my measurements and my body fat. Pretty much everything went up on me. Honestly, I was really upset about it this morning because I've been putting in a lot of hard work. Felt like I was getting more defined. I've been feeling stronger. I've definitely been feeling more defined. My skinny jeans were feeling tighter in my calves and around the butt area, so I had a feeling those were getting bigger. Expected to gain. I just didn't expect my body fat to go up. So I'm going to give you these measurements here. My weight, I started off at 135.8 and I weighed myself this morning and I was 141. I use this thing to do my body fat. It's a little thing, you just put in your little numbers here and then you hold it out in front of you like this and you stay real still and it sends like electromagnetic electricity through your arms and it's supposed to detect your body fat percentage. Evidently they are notorious for being off by up to 5%. So everyone keeps telling me to stop using that, but it's the only way I have to measure it. I'm going to invest in a pair of calipers because this, according to this thing here, my body fat was 19.1% when I first started. But according to a personal trainer I saw at the gym who did my body fat with calipers, it was 16%. So I used an average 17.5% and called it that's what it was. But according to this thing, my body fat is at 20.6% now. So it went up by like a percent. My waist went from 25.5 to 25.75. My hips stayed the same. My arms stayed the same. My calves went from 12.75 to 13. Now this is where I was upset. My saddlebag area went from 33 to 34 inches. And that's the problem that's the part of me I've always had trouble with. Now granted, when I was taking my measurements before, I always kind of held the tape thing a little tight to get the best number that I could, and I didn't do that this time. Thighs went from 18.25 to 19. My upper thigh went from 19.25 to 19.75. My waist at the belly button stayed the same. And my knee went from, like right above my knee, I went from 13.5 to 13.75. So I was pretty upset about this morning, so I messaged a personal trainer friend of mine who, you know, knows a lot more than me. I'm only halfway through my studying. He has completed it. He rocks at it. He trains professional bodybuilders and physique competitors, you know, all that. So he knows what he's talking about. He's been doing it for a while. So I messaged him and I asked for his opinion. He sent me a really nice response. It's kind of long, not really, I'll read it fast, but I'm going to read you guys what he told me because it makes a lot of sense and it's really important for you guys to hear this if you're doing this program too. Now, first I asked him body fat percentage, what it told me. And he said the margin of error would make it a little bit more inconsistent than a skin fold test. Here's what I would think would attribute to the gain. When the body increases muscle density, the gain is throughout the entire body, including the core. Because I was like, man, my waist even went up. So, believe it or not, this gain will help tighten the loose skin around your midsection during your next cutting phase. Okay, interesting. Which most women will start after an increase of 5 to 10 pounds. These increases are normal. This may be hard to believe at the moment, but they are definitely the norm. It's part of the periodization that leads to greater positive transformation. A slight weight gain is a must. It's called bulking in the weightlifting world. You bulk, you put on weight and you put on a little bit of size because you're building muscle, but you're not decreasing your fat. You're not losing fat because you're eating at a higher calorie, because you need to eat at higher calories to gain muscle. So bulking is eating at maintenance or higher, gaining muscle, but not reducing your fat. Cutting phase is when you focus more on losing that extra fat that you gain during your bulk, So the extra muscle that you gain during your bulk shows through beautifully. Makes sense to me now why I gained. I work with many women who have similar goals as you, including competitors, and to achieve this look, you're going to need several components. The most important is called a periodization model. I probably said that wrong because I suck at talking, but which is something the ACE manual talks about. ACE is the American Council on Exercise, which is who I'm studying through to be a personal trainer, and I obviously have not gotten to that section yet. The periodization model would suggest that you choose a period of about 12 to 16 weeks to either reduce body fat or gain lean body mass, because you can't do both at the same time. When you increase lean body mass, there will be a slight increase in fat mass. The 1% this is telling me. This is normal and okay, he writes in capital letters, so I'm assuming he wants to emphasize that. The ceiling for lean body mass gain is anywhere from 5 to 20 pounds at a time, depending on how large or small your frame is. He says he can usually get away with 15 to 20 pounds before his fat mass gain becomes more than he is comfortable with. When you are a smaller frame, then 5 to 7 pounds gained is the most at one time. After this, you will want to go into body fat reduction mode. As your periodization model switches from lean body mass gain to body fat reduction, over time you will see greater transformations in your physique. This is a tough process, especially those who've been more than 30 pounds overweight, mainly because we tend to be more sensitive to any kinds of changes in body weight, image, measurements, etc. We tend to look at things as though they are going wrong, when really this is just how the body progresses. It is an up and down game. Once you determine how best to overcome these emotional hurdles for yourself, the better equipped you will be able to handle your physical transformation. This guy's smart, right? Now the gain is a product of a couple things. Much of it has to do with the body's response to resistance training. Muscles are made up of about 18% protein and the rest is water and sugar storage. So this means there's a huge percentage of a muscle that is extremely variable. As you train with resistance more frequently, the muscles tend to store more sugar and water, a natural reaction, which increases density, fullness, and the amount of water that it also stores. This is what's making you stronger and giving you those awesome lines in your shoulders and arms. I guess he's referring to this right here, huh? Yeah, I don't know, maybe. Now I complained about my saddlebags getting bigger, and he says your hips or saddlebag area increase is actually an improvement in the density of the gluteal muscle group. Gluteal is your butt, which makes your rear end stand at attention, is what he says. And you'll see this in the picture, so it makes sense what he's saying, because he wrote that before I showed him any pictures. This is a product in increasing the intensity of lower body resistance training, which I definitely did. This process is better or more casually known as tone. He said, here's what I'd suggest. Your body weight has increased by about 5 pounds, and based upon your response, me writing him saying, what's going on? This is a good ceiling for you. If you reduce calories now slightly, he says, maybe aim for 1,800 calories instead of the 2,000. He says this will begin stripping some body fat, not much, and reveal more of those muscles you've been building. This will lower your body weight slightly over the next month or so, and you will be floored, he says, by how sharp your body will look. He says, and then after a few weeks, focus on gaining more muscle. Maybe add 5 pounds body weight in about 8 weeks or so, and then begin another phase of fat stripping. His name is Gabriel. I'm probably going to say this wrong, and I'm so sorry. Suck at names. I suck at pronunciating shit, so I'm sorry if I said that wrong. I'm going to link you guys to his Facebook profile down here at the bottom, because he is a personal trainer to follow, and he's very motivating, and he's really cool, and I like him. He's a cool guy. what he says makes a lot of sense to me. He took my freak out mode to, okay, focus mode. So this is my plan for the upcoming stages. I am going to reduce my calories slightly to what he said, going from 2,000 calories a day to 1,800 calories a day. So it's just a little bit of a reduction, and I'm going to do that all during stage 2, which is about a 5-week stage, because you got the 4 weeks of the lifting and then the week off. Do my cutting phase and see how that works. It's kind of just a game of seeing what works and seeing what doesn't. You know, it's up and down, like I was saying in my Commit to Change video. Success is not one straight line. It's all over the place, and I gotta remind myself that too. Enough talking. I'm gonna show you guys the pictures now of my before from day 1 to now, today, this morning. The pictures with the pink background is day 1. The ones with the gray background is from this morning. Alright, so that's my results of stage 1, new rules of lifting for women. I'll get back to you guys in 2 weeks for stage 2.